Ladies and gentlemen and others, we've got it. We've made it to the big one.
The big one. The big bad one. The big bad wolf.
Whoa, this movie's bad? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
No, it's
Hold
not.
on. Hold on 1 second. Yes, welcome back to, I keep forgetting our own podcast title.
That's about jumping the fence.
Welcome to That's About Right, our podcast about everything Edgar Wright, where we go from his very beginnings in the shooting films up until whatever the hell he's doing now.
Yes.
I am the Wasp.
I'm a random bystander here.
And I am a Japanese peace lily.
And I am not Count Rancid. We have to break this now. We did promise that Count Rancid would be coming, and until like earlier this morning, yes, he was gonna be coming. Unfortunately, there was some personal issues. That's all we can say. And no, he's very tragically not going to be coming by. It was really, but he insisted that we continue the podcast on without him, and we'll try our damnedest.
We will.
Yeah, he did give us some final thoughts. I mean, his own thoughts that we can share during the podcast, but we'll get there eventually.
We'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because today is, oh my god, it's Hot Fuzz.
It's Hot Fuzz.
It's 2007
Those of you
Hot Fuzz.
We all, at least before we saw it, we definitely were fans of this movie.
Yeah.
And there was so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good lord. Yeah. I guess we might as well start with the beginnings, like our history with the film.
Yeah.
I feel like I should go last because I'm definitely gonna be talking way too much about that.
I mean, I guess I'll go first, but I'm pretty sure I found this movie out because of you, Wash. I think you showed it to me, and I think it was either sometime after Shaun of the Dead, or I think it was before Shaun of the Dead. I remember seeing this before Shaun of the Dead.
I think I showed this to you before Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
I think you did too. And I just was like, okay, this seems interesting. I'm not sure what to think of it. But I think you were like, look, the more you watch this film, the better it gets. And I watched it. I thought it was weird, but it still was good. Like, I didn't expect anything. I was like, what? And then I remember I think we watched it again together at one point. Because probably, and then I was like, okay, and that's where you like, I appreciated the film a lot more, and then I found myself watching the film a lot more. I eventually bought my own copy just because I loved it so much, and the more I watched it, the more I loved it. I remember showing it to my mom at one point, she watched it, and she liked it, but I don't think she appreciated it as much. Like Coco, where I went on a trip and binge watched that movie, I remember I stayed over a dorm for my college orientation. Even though I was commuting from my house to school, they let us stay over the school for the weekend of orientation, and I brought a bunch of DVDs to watch during the night while I was waiting to go to bed. I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I only watched Hot Fuzz. I watched literally Hot Fuzz. There was 3 nights, and I think I watched it once each night. Because I was just like, yes, I've watched it like 100. It feels like 50 times. 50 times. And yeah, this was probably 51 or 101 or I don't know.
Who can ever keep count?
Yeah, I've seen it a lot of times. This is the movie this is the Edgar Wright movie I've seen the most by far, and it was, and as at the time it was technically my second favorite Edgar Wright movie, but I still hold it on high regard.
Mhm.
And that's all I got to say about that.
I want to add something to your story, because I'm pretty sure there was a murder mystery play that you wrote,
Oh, yeah.
and you took a lot of inspiration.
I did. I wrote plays in the past,
Yes.
and I was like, I need to write a murder mystery comedy. What could I use as inspiration? And there were points where while I was watching the movie while writing the script, and like I literally read the script.
Yeah.
Like the script was for the film itself. You sent it to me.
I did.
And I read it and I read it like physically just to get some inspiration. And there's a lot of references to Hot Fuzz in that script.
Yeah. That was the big one that I remember. Was you took it to that level of just like stealing from it.
I didn't steal.
I'm kidding.
It was heavily inspired by. There's a difference. A non-copyright confrontational difference. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that, for real.
All right, Kirby fan, do you have a story to tell?
No. Look, I know this is going to sound so disappointing after that life-changing experience I shared in the Shaun of the Dead episode, but after I saw Shaun of the Dead, the next time I hung out with Wash, and I believe Random was there. I'm assuming Random was there because Hot Fuzz was involved.
Yes.
You know, I love Shaun of the Dead, so we watched Hot Fuzz, and I really, really loved it.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it. The most interesting thing about my history with Hot Fuzz is that we were supposed to get to it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I was uploading a video every day, so I couldn't get the time to do it. So we pushed it off. That's legitimately the most interesting part of my Hot Fuzz history. Also, when I went to watch it today, my PS4 controller ran out of battery, and I couldn't find a micro charger, so for like 5 minutes in the top left corner, it kept saying, charge your battery, charge your battery. It was really distracting.
It's part of the experience. It was what Edgar Wright would have wanted.
Of course.
Yes.
Edgar Wright would also have liked for us to not have seen Dead Right, but here we are.
No luck charging them batteries then. It's just the one battery, actually. Oh, this script is so quotable. But now we'll get to you, the Wash.
Right.
Since you wanted to go last,
Yes.
what is your experience with this film? Because technically you both got us into it.
Yes. So
Who wants to do the synopsis of this?
I hadn't realized. I didn't realize until sometime later that like my parents just happened to own a copy of this without me ever knowing. I don't know how. Because I'm pretty sure like they both saw it like once, so I don't know how. I guess they just like bought it just on a whim and just be like, oh, British comedy like Shaun of the Dead. Oh, looks like it's gonna be fun. And they don't talk much about it at least. But I watched it, and I watched it with my cousin, and I didn't remember much about the experience until my cousin reminded me several years later that like the first time we watched it, we were really horrified. Like, yeah, we were? Oh my god, that's right, because it just turned into like a horror film just out of nowhere, and we were just freaking the fuck out. Like, oh my god, is this gonna be like a horror film? I'm gonna get jump scared. I'm terrified. And I was like really confused my first time watching. But what got me back into it, and I'm really ashamed to say, was that there was a particular content creator that will go unnamed. But
Good.
but I do have to admit that like when he mentioned this film as like one of his favorite, I think it was his favorite comedy of all time. When he mentioned that, I was like, hey, I have a copy of that. Let me give that another shot. And I did, and I loved it. And I think I watched it one more time, and then I'm gonna bring this story back. I went to Poland, and I bought 3 DVDs, which we've now watched. All 3 DVDs for this podcast. I watched Toy Story, Up, and Hot Fuzz. And good Lord, I honestly cannot tell you how many times I've watched Hot Fuzz. Just ungodly amount. I watched every single special feature multiple times over. I watched the commentary track. I watched it just all over the place. Just watching, rewatching, and just getting like fully hooked on Hot Fuzz. Just absolutely adoring it. And I just became like I ended up becoming like the evangelist of this movie for you two, and just like, if you know me well enough, I'm eventually gonna talk about Hot Fuzz. Like I had considered Hot Fuzz as my absolute favorite film, not comedy, film. I love Hot Fuzz, and we'll talk about like whether or not my opinion changed on that. But good Lord, I got obsessed. I feel like there's like a final thing I have to add, but I genuinely can't remember. The only other thing I can remember is that like I did like a marathon with my cousins where we watched Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, like in a row, in one day. It was a very boring day in Florida. Anyway.
Yeah. You got obsessed with it. I got obsessed with it.
Yep.
Kirbyfan thought it was good.
I loved it when I saw it, alright?
Yeah, no.
But you haven't reached obsession level. You didn't bring the DVD on a trip like both of us
Why
did.
would I? It's a live-action movie. All I like are cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Even though I saw this after I
That's
saw
fair.
Shaun of the Dead, but whatever. It was
Right.
a recovery process.
True. What? Who wants to do the synopsis of this?
Not me. I need a water break.
Okay. Oh, jeez. All right. Well,
I guess I'll do it, because if I let Random do it, we're gonna go past the 75 minutes.
oh, come on. I'm not, I can genuinely summarize the plot of this, but you know
It's
what?
gonna take you 30
do it.
minutes.
Go ahead, do it. You got it. I trust you.
Why, thank you. Nicholas Angel is an excellent policeman in London. He has a criminal arrest record of over 400% more than anybody else of the entire department. And because
Good
the
Lord.
rest of the police department doesn't like looking bad compared to him,
Now, I know what you're going to say, but the fact is, you've been making us all look bad.
I'm sorry, sir?
Of course, we all appreciate your efforts, but you've been rather letting the side down.
It's all about being a team player, Nicholas. You can't be the Sheriff of London.
If we let you carry on running around town, you'll continue to be exceptional, and we can't have that. You'll put us all out of a job.
he gets transferred to some nowhere town out in the country, and it's just him. He doesn't really have anything else in his life because he loves his job so much. Anything that he did have in his life got disconnected because he just loved the job so much. So he gets to this nowhere town, he's very stuck up, stern policeman, and this town is very laid back, doesn't really focus on the law too much. The police force is honestly a joke. And as the movie goes on, the town's trying to tell him to quiet down, calm down, doesn't really listen too much, but becomes friends with a pretty bad policeman named Danny, who really admires his work. As bad of a policeman as he is, he wants to be a good policeman, but he's lazy. And then it becomes a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then murders start happening, people are killed, and it's a mystery to find out who these people are, if Nicholas Angel is in fact just going crazy, or if these accidents are more than just accidents.
Can I just start off real quick with that tonal? How did you feel when you first saw that tonal shift?
When
It was at the theater. That's the specific moment where it was at the theater, and they were just walking away, and it's like I wouldn't
Hopefully
wanna
won't be hearing
in the
from
morning
him.
or something like that. No, that's not it. But
my favorite was when they brought the drunk guy home. They said, "Man, I wouldn't want to be him in the morning."
yeah, that was the one.
That was
I
my
don't
favorite
wanna-
one.
Yeah.
And I think he says, hopefully this will be the last we see of him. And then
that's
the one.
that's when the tonal shift happens. Yes,
and then it becomes a horror movie. I think my reaction was excuse me, what? Because this is 37 minutes in the film.
Yeah,
over a half hour in.
Yeah,
and granted, they sprinkle a lot of hints in the writing, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
we'll get to. But for a first movie watcher who doesn't catch all that, it just goes from like a movie about a cop trying to just like adjust to a new life and trying to like learn how to like appreciate life more to a horror mystery film. Like instantly.
But it's still. But the thing is, unlike Shaun of the Dead, which in the last quarter, it becomes a much more serious. It's more or less a very serious toned zombie film. In this case, the comedy is throughout the board.
Yes, from the very beginning,
all the way to the end. It's cop moves into a boring town. Horror film, John Woo flick, where it just turns into Fast and Furious action schlock, like Michael Bay wackiness.
Oh, it's great. It's so great.
So I only want to talk about Hot Fuzz. I'm not going to bring up Shaun of the Dead too much, but we talked about this. Shaun of the Dead got more serious, but it was still like littered with jokes all throughout. What Hot Fuzz was more consistent with its comedic like quantity, I guess. Shaun of the Dead was more like a rising and lowering audio wave, I guess. That's the easiest way to describe it. Hot Fuzz is like a straight line that every so often, like it can go up a little bit, maybe go down like once or twice, but it's just kind of going up.
I think the other thing is that with Shaun of the Dead, again, we're not going to talk. The only reason we're talking this much about Shaun of the Dead is because it's literally right after the same two actors.
Yeah.
A lot of the cast actually comes back,
and there is a spaced cameo as well. Marsha is actually in, and I do know Marsha was.
Marsha
yes,
was definitely
I noticed Marsha.
Of course, the Simon and Nick are there. Bill Bailey, aka Tim's boss, comes back from space.
Oh my God, that's how I knew him. Yes. Okay.
Yep. It's.
Oh, you know who comes back from space? Nick Frost.
I mentioned Nick.
You know what? Also, who comes back? Simon Pegg.
And also there's like Robert Popper, like he shows up like at the very beginning, like fully maxed and everything. You can't recognize him, but he's the guy. If you remember the episode in space where Daisy gets a job at the bookstore, and then a guy just like nicely asks him something, and she just says "fuck off." That was him. That was Robert Popper, co-creator of Look Around You with Peter Serafinowicz. Like. Great, he's great. Very funny.
And if I'm not mistaken, this isn't space, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the police chiefs that send Nicholas to the country, one of them is Sean's dad from Shaun of the Dead.
Yes,
I think.
Correct. That is Bill Nighy. I think I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it because it's just Nighy. But yes, it is Bill Nighy comes back. And I mean, he was in all sorts of things, and this won't be the last we'll see of him. Martin. It's funny we're talking about actors because the thing that when we asked Rancid, what do you want us to talk about, he immediately said you got to talk about the surplus of British character actors because my God,
there's so many.
There's so many. Like I was watching like one of the featurettes and like. Both Simon and Edgar were having a really hard time trying to name all of the characters that show up. There's so fucking many.
There's so many characters in general.
Yeah.
And like, there's some that come to my mind immediately. Like, there's some actors I know about immediately, like Timothy Dalton as Skinner. That's one of them.
Yes, Timothy Dalton, James Bond, and as we know him, Mr. Pickle Pants.
Yes, yes.
Martin
Frank Butterman.
What is that?
Frank Butterman. I forget the actor who plays him, but
that's
I
Jim
know
Broadbent.
him because he was in Harry Potter. That's it.
Yeah, Jim Broadbent. Yes, Harry Potter, Moulin Rouge, Bridget Jones' Diary, all sorts. He's all over the place. Jim Broadbent. Martin Freeman at the very beginning too, like pre Hobbit, and pre Sherlock. Just so many. like this is like a huge. It's like a huge reunion of all these different actors. Maybe like my favorite. Maybe like my favorite performance. I don't know if I can say it's absolute favorite because there's so many good performances, including Timothy Dalton. But the one that I always appreciated was Billy Whitelaw as Joyce Cooper, the one who was trying to solve the crossword puzzle, which is a joke that we last saw in Space. Fascist. Oh, fascism! Wonderful.
Hag.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. As I found out, like, this is not only has she passed away, rest in peace. This is her last film. When I was watching like The Futurist, she might have wanted it that way because she didn't sound like she liked acting very much, even though she had been an actor for like 50 years. But like, yeah, like rest in peace. Like she just did such a damn good job, especially at the very end when she's like shooting a gun and her whole hair is shaking from the bullets.
Oh my god!
Oh, we'll get to talk about the violence in this.
There's so much to talk about.
But that's just the like all the different the secondary cast and everything like that. Again, way too many. Marsha, as we mentioned, has shown up. There's so many actors that came by. It really is a packed town, a packed village. And of course, we have the stars, not just of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, but stars of our lives is Simon Pegg and good old Nick Frost.
The great duo that was in Shaun of the Dead and Spaced are now here again in Hot Fuzz, and honestly, I think they work as well as ever.
Here's a question: do you like this pairing more than Shaun of the Dead?
Yes.
Yes. No question.
I mean, I like I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah.
Look, so just
defend your.
Just quick. There again, I don't want to talk about Shaun of the Dead too much, but there's just nothing quite like what Ed's role in Shaun's life is. Just from the start to the end of that movie, literally the final shot of Shaun of the Dead being about them and how that reflected the rest of the film. There's just nothing quite like that. There's a different appeal to them, and I appreciate that a lot. This really is just why it ends up being like pick your flower. I don't know what a good term for that is. Like apples and oranges. It's just like they're both great. Just pick which one you like more. I just appreciate what Ed meant for the movie. I don't think Danny represented a lot in this movie too. I'm not saying he isn't. There was just nothing quite like what the Wash brought up last time with Shaun watching the TV and then Ed saying, "There's a girl outside." There's nothing even close to that in this.
You know what's close to that is when they brought back through the jumping over the fence. And
that was so funny.
And like Simon Pegg gets his redemption arc, where he like jumps over 3 fences and then somersaults over the last one, and then Nick Frost is like pumped up and he falls right through the
He
fence.
breaks.
You know what? I know. I will give him this. He got through 2 fences before it panned away. That's more than Sean got through.
There's an outtake where you actually see. I wish they kept the whole thing. Like you actually see him try to go over to the 3rd fence, and then when he gets to the 4th fence, he just like gives up and walks around. Damn. No, I think the reason they cut they probably cut that for time, but also because like the crew was laughing during that shot.
I thought I heard them laughing during it, honestly.
How do you not laugh during that?
Oh my god, it was especially with the timing of the music. Just stops immediately as he breaks the fence.
He doesn't even grab the fence. He just goes head first into it.
It
makes me laugh every single goddamn time. It really does.
Every single time. It's. I don't think it's as because like I said, like my favorite like scene like in the whole like trilogy might be the are they still out there scene in Shaun the Dead, but that's damn close, and that's a pratfall. That's slapstick, and it works so well.
It really does, though, and it's great for the fence jump. It's a great thing for the fence jumping gag.
Of course. We do get some closure on that, but we'll talk about that 2 movies from now.
2? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
I keep forgetting there's something before the world's end.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before this again? The characters?
We're talking about the characters. We're talking about Nick Frost. Kirby fan was talking about like why she prefers the Ed in Shaun of the Dead. What is your thought?
And I can
well, specifically what I was saying was that I prefer Sean and Ed as a duo, but also what I was saying just kind of correlates to Ed as well.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, Kirby fan, because Sean and Ed as a duo is necessary for Sean's character arc. Like you said, Ed represents Sean's apathy, and them being a duo together makes him, and the journey they have makes him grow. Mm-hmm. But I just like how that's implemented on Hot Fuzz as well better.
I mean, me too.
Just because again, Nicholas Angel is the won't switch off workaholic, always does everything by the law and nothing else type of person. And Danny shows him how to have fun and how to enjoy movies and go hang out at the pub, and they're good friends. And he shows him to like loosen up a bit, and in a way, they work together to help each other.
Yeah.
At the end.
So that's like a dime a dozen in any kind of movie with a duo like that. What I love about it is that any movie like this, Nicholas Angel would be the one pinned to be in the wrong, and he'd end the movie, laying back a little bit, doesn't care about his job so much. It's not that important, right? But here, it's actually Danny that undergoes more of a change.
Yeah.
The lazy one is the one that undergoes more of the change, and it actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like that a lot. Of course, I'm not saying, overnight he becomes as good of a policeman as Nicholas did, but he still actually becomes a legitimate policeman compared to the one who, when they were watching People Speed, was just talking about movies that Nick hadn't seen.
You ain't seen Bad Boys 2.
I would safe to say that, like, of all the ones that he's listed, the only one I saw was Die Hard. I've not seen Lethal Weapons, Point Break, or Bad Boys 2.
What about Super Cop? Eat the cup.
Can't
stop. Oh god, there's so many quotable lines in this. Although Wash and I probably can quote them because we've seen the movie 500 times.
Nah, I can quote a lot from the movie too. Oh, but again, in fairness, probably like an equal amount. There's so much with this where it's like, I either slightly prefer it in Sean, I slightly prefer it in here, or it's just like, don't make me pick.
Oh, yeah, that's very fair. I mean, like, we're blessed to have the choice here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, Oh God. I felt myself like I was about to like go all in on this. Not yet. Not yet.
I guess if I know I keep saying that I'm not going to bring up Sean, but I mean, I guess I should just because this movie is really good and it's they're comparable.
Yeah, I say so.
And the fact that we all loved Sean a lot, and it's just like no, Hot Fuzz. If it's not as good, it's better, or at the very least, like super close. I guess it's fair to bring up Sean. I just don't want to because we already gushed about it.
I think that definitely, like, especially if we're talking about duo, like in this case, Nick Frost plays kind of the same person, although they're both like lovable oafs, but like Ed is complete like laziness, just like doing the absolute minimum for his life, just going through the motions, and Danny, and I mean granted he has a job because of his dad,
yeah,
but he's also like I think the difference between them is that like Danny Butterman is the happiest guy you'll ever meet. He just loves everything. and it's like he's just so excited. It's like when like he's in this and he's just saying like, oh, it's like a nice town, it's like I like all the people here, and then like Nicholas Angels comes in and he's like, so that's what cops are like. It just blows his mind.
Yeah,
like and he's so especially like once he finds out that Nicholas has seen action and everything and like that, he's like, I gotta ask you everything. No,
I think one of my favorite scenes of the movie, just for I mean it's great overall and it's funny, but just because it not only gave Nick a lot of character and humanity, but also just because I mean it kind of did the same thing for Danny as well, but also it's just Danny being Danny, and that's what did it, was when he asked Nick why he became a cop.
Yeah, that's a nice moment.
That was good.
That was good. That was really good.
That was a great scene.
We talk about Edgar Wright and it's all about the crazy editing, the whoosh whoosh shots, but it was just like slowly zooming in, zoom in shots of the characters seriously talking to each other, and then Danny stabbing his eye with Tadao just ketchup.
No, he's just talking about like his dead mom.
It's super serious, and then he's just like, but hey, anyway, watch this.
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
But you know what? Nick laughs at it.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he liked it. That's still, I just love, it just kind of shows you like the kind of tonal shifts we get in this.
Yes.
I mean, it does happen before the big tonal shift, so.
Oh no, that was after.
No, it was after.
That was after.
Oh,
yeah, because that was the.
Martin Blower. Forgot. Sorry. No, not Martin Blower. David Merchant.
I almost said Stephen Merchant, but that's the guy who calls in about the swan.
Swan's escape.
Peter Ian Staker, right? Piss taker. Come on.
He's a swan.
It's just like, nope, that's just his name.
That's just his name. This feels so ashamed of himself. And he's trying to like ask like what the swan looks like. It's like orange beak, white feathers. I mean, it's a swan.
It's a swan.
Part of me wishes I could take that clip and just add the Untitled Goose Game music onto it.
That's a goose, not a swan.
I know, but it still would work.
Kind of. I mean the reason why because the reason why they're chasing after the swan is because the swan is a protected species under the Queen. So like they can't just shoot it. They have to like collect it and keep it safe. Like that was the wackiness of the situation with like they just have to chase after a swan.
Swan! And in the end, the swan helps in the end, so.
Not only the swan helped them in the end, but the swan was the thing that clued them in with the. If it wasn't for the swan, they wouldn't have the running gag of no luck, catch him, then killers. Then
just one killer, actually.
Yep. If it wasn't for that swan, good God, the efficiency. The efficiency of the script.
Oh my God.
Yes.
As a writer, I
man.
appreciate this so much. The reason that this movie is better the more you watch it is because there's so many little details and callbacks that happen in this script that you will not catch your first time watching. Not even your second or third, probably. I swear.
I've watched this film at least a dozen times, maybe like 20 times by now. I honestly don't know. And every single time, there's something new I discover that I didn't notice my first time. Every single time. It is just that efficient.
I mean, I'm in that boat too, question mark. I've seen the movie twice. But what I can say, having seen Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead in succession, is that both movies are very good at this. They're both super efficient. However, Hot Fuzz wins in this regard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, easily. Not saying anything wrong with Shaun of the Dead script. And I guess I think the script and how it tells you, like, foreshadowing and stuff, I think is a little funnier, maybe, in Shaun. That's just a really hard one, though, because both of them are so funny.
Yeah.
But just as far as, like, what the script doesn't tell you, by telling you, it's just Hot Fuzz completely has it beat out.
Yeah, it's just so efficient. There's so much.
So efficient.
I honestly, we could spend an entire podcast episode talking about all the different Easter eggs that come by. I seriously, like, my notes are completely packed because I just could not keep up with this movie. Good Lord,
I swear, it's just it's so tight of a script. It really is. If I'm so glad Edgar Wright did multiple drafts, because you can tell in this, you really can.
Well, yeah.
Unlike,
I know that from what I understand, like they spent like I think 8 months on the first draft. And then they did two things. One, they interviewed several police officers that work in the city, officers who work in the country, and officers who moved in from the city to the country. And they watched like over 100 action films. I think the count was like 130 something. It's just tons and tons and tons of action films, and they sprinkled references all over the place. There's John Woo, there's Michael Bay, who features prominently, Jerry Bruckheimer. There's just way too much to cover, and I've surely missed a boatload of them. I mean, there's obviously the ones that they point out like straight away from Point Break and Bad Boys 2. This shit just got real.
And shooting your gun in the air and go,
Patrick Swayze's just robbed this bank. Keanu Reeves is chasing him through people's gardens. And he goes to shoot Swayze, but he can't because he loves him so much. And he's firing his gun up in the air. He's like, oh. Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone,
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone,
It's also a thing where it's like it's like every joke ever is somehow in this movie.
Yes. And it works.
There's actually one. I only know this because of the director's commentary. There's one that they didn't realize that Simpsons did it. Towards the end, Dennis said, "He's not Judge Judy and executioner," and they didn't know until after the movie came out that Simpsons did it, and they were like, "Oh, God damn it!"
Simpsons has always done it.
Simpsons always done it, but yeah, it's just so many.
There's so many jokes. You need to watch the film for yourself multiple times and discover them on your own.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's so... Even though for a first time viewer, the tonal shift may come out of nowhere, it's really tightly written. It really is.
It's so fast, too. Like, I didn't... Especially when I was... Because I ended up reading the screenplay for this, and I was more struck by how much they cut out than added in from the screenplay. Like it is so like it's like scene after scene after scene. Everything is building up to something. Every tiny little every tiny joke, every tiny detail is it's gonna lead you there. Just have to trust us on this.
Yep. Who is your favorite of the villagers? I felt like I'm talking about Animal Crossing, but who is your favorite of the villagers?
My favorite is, of course, oh shit, I was gonna make an Animal Crossing reference and then I completely blanked out. Why did I blank out?
My
Wayman.
favorite is
Wayman,
Wolfgang.
that's what I'll say.
Okay.
Anyway, my perfect Sunday would involve...
Well, he's more an officer, to be honest with you.
No. He's that was a joke. No, my favorite character. You know what? I especially because of how much he gets involved in the plot right from the start. Like Timothy Dalton is playing the most obvious red herring.
Oh yes, and that's the joke. Obviously,
yeah, it's a joke. Like he starts. I'm a slasher. You have to stop prices. No,
my discount's a criminal. Catch you later.
No, catch me later.
Catch me later. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
Yes, just catch me later. It's so obvious. I'm sure if we bat your head in, all sorts of secrets will come tumbling out.
It's like they really made it.
He'll be bitch in the morning.
Fire to destroy
Slap
what you've done. Fire.
Yeah. Although when he's playing Romeo and Juliet on the radio.
News travels fast. Oh my god, Kirby fan. As actors, that whole scene with Martin Blower and Eve Draper. Oh,
I was waiting for you to talk about that scene.
I want to hear your thoughts on it because I know my thoughts.
Well, I'll say this. When he died, and then he went now. That I felt.
Same.
I mean, it's like I can talk about, the rest of why that joke worked so well and how I felt that, but it doesn't matter. That's all that matters. That one word is all that matters.
Oh god. Oh my god. That is God, it's so great.
Poison! I'll kiss thy lip. Happy some poison doth yet hang on them.
And then the kiss is the most convincing part of the show.
No, the best.
You see
the
him
best
get
part,
up at one point to make out with her.
Make out, yeah. No, I mean the part that always stuck with me, which I didn't realize until sometime later, was the bizarre cover that they do of the Cardigans' "Love Fool." Love me, say that you love me.
And then just Nicholas Angel's look of horror.
Yeah.
Oh god, we've all seen a production like that.
Yes, we have.
How many of us have been in productions like that?
Oh, me too.
Yes, we have.
We have. It's a requirement. You have to have done that at least once.
At least
if you want to be on this podcast, you have to be on a trash-ass Baz Luhrmann version of Romeo and Juliet.
So you know who we haven't talked about yet?
Who else?
Nicholas Angel.
I mean, we kind of have, but
not really. Not really.
Tiny bit, but yeah. Okay, let's go into Nicholas Angel. Why don't we?
Simon Pegg's such a good actor.
He's such a good actor. This isn't going into either Nicholas or Sean. This is just talking about Simon Pegg, but he played Sean and Nicholas.
It's so hard to think that, but yes, he did.
Yeah, isn't that something that he's? Do you think he wrote this because he wrote this for himself? Obviously. Do you think he wrote this specifically just to play against type? Just to see what it's like.
Maybe.
There's a chance. I don't like, making theories like that, just because you never know.
No. If
looking at what he did in Space, looking at what he did in Sean, I mean, he had moments of being serious, hard worker, more so in Space than Sean. But I mean, this is definitely against type. He's not usually this kind of character.
Yeah.
He plays it really well.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not saying that as like an accusation. Like, I'm just saying it's like if this was a challenge to himself, then good grief, he nailed it.
Nailed it. I mean, as he like something about the clean shave and just like
that's
performance.
Right. This is the first time we see him without a beard.
Yeah, honestly, and something about just like his performance in it is just so different from Sean and Tim, and it's a really welcome change, and I think that's why at first I liked Hot Fuzz more than Shaun of the Dead, because his character in Shaun of the Dead seemed off to me a bit. It seemed off, like I was just like, wow, he's lazy. That's not Nicholas Angel. Weird, man. But yeah. But it's a wonderful performance and a good character too.
Yeah, there's a lot of like sadness, and it's not nearly as sad for me. It's not nearly as sad as Sean, but there's still like a lot of tragedy to a workaholic like Nicholas Angel. He's just like the shot when he first walks into goes into the hotel, and he goes in and he just like sits in the rain, and he sits for like 2 seconds, and then he just gets right back up. Like he can never ever like stand still. Like he has to be doing something. He has to be doing something productive. He's always working. He has to be. And it's of course it's Danny who helped him ease in and just try to go a little. Just start to see more of the fun in this and start to laugh. Like the scene that we were talking about with them like talking about the backstories and stuff like.
Hey, watch this.
Watch this. That was the first that scene. That was the first time we actually see like Nicholas laughing, like he's genuinely like enjoying himself for the first time. And then he's like, oh my god, he just killed himself with the fork. And then he's like, oh no, it's a ketchup.
This is madness. No, it's not madness, it's ketchup.
Ketchup.
I want to talk about that scene, but later.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. The side characters are great. I will just say every single side character stands out, even the ones that don't have any lines.
Yeah, like oh god, the ones without lines. Yeah, like Mr. Treacher.
Mr. Treacher, the sleeping husband of the hotel owner.
Yeah, I forgot he had no lines too.
He just sleeps and then he yells at the end with a sword.
Yeah.
You'd have like everyone in the village, which gets to really shows off their stuff. Everyone has a moment, even like the people like Skinner's like henchmen.
Yeah.
Especially Michael.
Oh yes.
Yarp. Is he moving?
Is everything okay?
Yarp.
Sergeant Angel's been taken care of.
Yarp.
He's not gonna get back up again.
Narp.
Good. Proceed to the castle.
Yeah, that's like one of the best. Like, it's the punchline of exactly one word. Like, just how genius that is. Nope.
Good.
And of course, all the cops, including the Andes, who is just It was like
Okay. This I did want to bring up real quick. When we were talking about Shaun of the Dead, I remember Wash was saying when I was talking about, the relationship, let's put it, between Shaun and Ed.
Oh my god.
And Wash was like, "Oh, but Hot Fuzz. If you do not interpret the Andes as a gay couple, you're wrong."
I saw them both, honestly.
They're the cattiest couple you'll ever see.
It's right, Andy. It's just Bolognese.
Yeah. They have their own arc, I guess.
They do. They both equally hate Nicholas Angel, and they both give him shit. But at the end,
I can't believe all the times I've seen this, I didn't recognize one of the Andes as the 17-year-old from Shaun of the Dead. All because he wore a mustache, I didn't recognize him.
Wait, the 17? What?
The other, not the one with not the one with the huge mustache, the one with like the tinier mustache.
Yeah.
That's the 17-year-old coworker from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
I did not recognize him at all until this recording. It's like, that looks familiar.
Man, you got a mustache.
Yeah, all because you got a mustache. Yeah,
I know.
and they both are just like the one is just kind of like one is just kind of like dazed. Because we all sell apples here, don't we? Your dad sells apples and raspberries. And then the other one who's just like constantly like Robert De Niro. You have a mustache.
Wonka.
I know.
Wonka. You actually see one of the Andes in a future film.
Oh yes,
well.
yes. We'll talk about that soon enough. Yes, absolutely.
I think. Who else is there worth mentioning? Frank Butterman, the police chief.
Yes.
You first think of him as like this, like jolly-go-lucky, bumbling police officer, and you're like, but at the same time, he's very likable, because he cares about his son, and his heart's in the right place, even if it is. Bumbling.
It's the kind of thing where it's like a school teacher that says, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed." Like that was the kind of relationship that they had for quite a while, where he didn't like yell at Nicholas until the very end, but he was just trying to explain that it's like, no, you have to understand. Like these people, they don't know what you're talking about.
There's been a recorded murder in Stanford for over 20 years.
Exactly. Like he's just like trying to talk through. Just like listen. Like, and he talks quietly, and he treats them as an equal, and just says like, listen, you got to understand. But then of course it just turns out that like, no, he's a racist bastard, and the like, good lord, the way that it all ends
racist?
Off. This is horrendous.
Wait, racist? When was he? When was he racist?
Because at the end, like the whole reason that
Oh yes, okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah, the certain word for Romani, for the Romani people, like all of this was because some Romani people moved in one time and they didn't get the Village of the Year, and the wife just like killed herself over that, and he just went like utterly insane and just murdered everybody.
Not only that, but murdered everybody, but got everyone on the town to have a whole neighborhood watch organization where they play Judge Judy and executioner.
Predates the accident. But like the whole everyone in the neighborhood watch is in on this conspiracy. Like they're just A-okay with the murder for the greater good. And they it just spirals out of control. And it spirals out in kind of the best way though, because like once this conspiracy is revealed, it turns from a horror film straight into like an action film, and God, what a great action film it is.
Before we get to the special effects, can I just say I admire what they did with the twist so much, because first they make it out to be that it was Skinner behind it all, because they made him an obvious red herring, and they come up with this and Nicholas comes up with this whole colluded conspiracy about the buying of land and how much the money is worth. And who owns the land and who's profiting from it, and why
the
Skinner
truth is
would
not
do
nearly
this.
as complex as that.
No,
They were bad actors.
bad actors, annoying laugh, awful house. No one could have her greenery. Typos in a journal, typos in the newspaper, which are very annoying.
in the newspaper.
Typos in
All
he lifted
stuff
her
that-
age is 55 when I'm actually 53.
53. Well, which also not only are not reasons to die whatsoever, but also stuff that Nicholas Angel pointed out automatically.
Yeah, absolutely.
You told me that, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's right. He was the one that noticed that that the house wasn't keeping with the rustic aesthetics of the village. He was the one that pointed out the distinctive laugh. He pointed all of this out, and he is none the wiser about the connections. That all of these are just kind of annoying people. And so they deserve to have an entire church roof splattered on their head. Probably the goriest thing we've ever seen so far.
Definitely the goriest for sure. Although what happens to Simon Skinner at the end does come close.
No, I would say again, it's the goriest in Hot Fuzz. David getting torn apart in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that's the closest one I can think of. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the goriest.
Yeah.
But
I think this is the I think I don't say this is the goriest. Although the the church roof going through Skinner's neck and mouth, and not only he not dead, but he's crying. Oh, this really
ice cream.
There's plenty of ice cream at the
plenty of ice
station.
cream at the
Isn't that
station.
right, Danny?
Hack it in, Frank, you silly bar stool.
Oh, before I forget, you want anything at the shop?
Cornetto.
Yes, that's right, and I thank you for bringing that up, because this is the film where it officially became the Cornetto trilogy, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't even intend it to be the Cornetto trilogy until I think it was a friend of Edgar had pointed it out either during the edit or after the film has come out. That's hey, we have the red flavor for Shaun of the Dead, and you have the blue flavor for Hot Fuzz. So what's your third film going to be? What's going to be the mint flavor? And so they just kind of have to figure that one out for themselves. And we'll get to the mint flavor soon enough. Good lord.
Yes. Should we talk about the action, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, there's so many things I want to talk about, but let's talk about the action.
Oh my god, especially the whole ending climax, the action in this movie is amazing, and the shots for the action as well. Even the shots for non-action stuff, just going from one room to another, is classic Edgar Wright, but the action is fantastic.
I have my beef with the way the movie ended, but the climax. Oh man.
Oh my god!
What a joyride, start to finish.
It's just everything pays off all over again. You're a doctor, deal with it. Yeah, motherfucker. What are you thinking? Pub?
Fascist hag.
Yeah. Oh my god, I loved that. I should say something cool. You don't have to say anything at all.
No, in the grocery store, and he, I almost said Sean, and Nicholas just beaten Michael in the freezer, and he meets up again with Danny. Is this cool off? No, I didn't say anything. Shame! There's a bit you missed earlier where I was hitting his head with the peach lady. stuffed him with the cuddly monkey, and I said, "Playtime's over," and I hit him with the pistol. You're off the fucking scene. They're so like proud of being like action stars.
Oh, the callback to Danny screaming in the air and going while like with his father running away.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
The Aaron A. Aronson. What a dumb joke.
Oh my god, yes.
I call Aaron A. Aronson.
And that distracts him just long enough for Skinner to get back up.
Yeah. I love how like he tried to do a hostage, and the kid just like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna bite you."
Good job, kid. I actually, when he said his name was Aaron A. Anderson, Aronson, thank you. I legitimately thought it was gonna be like when Nicholas was like, "Huh, what?" I thought he was gonna be a twist villain.
Aaron A. Aronson.
I was really on edge, and then Skinner slipped, and that whole thing happened. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember this. He's not a twist villain." Okay.
Just imagine if the kid pulled out a gun.
That would actually be my favorite twist villain of any movie we've watched.
I can see
I'm okay with him not being a twist villain. I'm never gonna ask for one. I'd be okay with that one though.
He tried to shoot Nicholas Angel, and Angel just throws a phone book at him.
Also, again, there's so many little touches, like Skinner tripping on a moving truck, which he does own, technically, so like in the model village, and him hitting the church, which is also ironic.
Of course, it's ironic, it's painful, it's hilarious as fuck. It's one of the best laughs in the movie, as well as him just like moaning in pain. Like the action, the driving, the car chase, where they're like shooting at each other, and at one point Danny just says bang bang.
I will say though, none of them die except for one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was exactly one that everybody forgot about.
Because honestly, I confuse the Neighborhood Watch guy with Dr. Hatcher sometimes, the funeral guy, but the Neighborhood Watch guy dies because of a goddamn sea mine.
Yes. Oh my god, the sea mine. No! Oh. That's probably one of my favorite moments like ever, when they first...
It looks live!
It looks live!
That whole scene is just...
That's right, don't reactivate it. It's not live. It looks live, go!
Just keep kicking it.
That whole scene with them translating. Why do we need the dog? It's not the dog we need, and they just need sex. They just need
I have
what's his name?
DC
Walker, I think his name.
Oh,
they just need Walker to the officer. They need Walker to translate the farmer, and they need Danny to translate what Walker says.
No, I don't know what's he moaning about. Yeah, he says the nice.
I suppose.
I love during the climax when Nicholas is kind of exposing the town to the police, and he says something. Danny translates it, and Nick says, "I know." It's like that's development.
Yeah. Oh, he's got something there. Yeah. I was reading the script, and there's actually there's one line where he's just saying it just sounds like complete nonsense, but he actually has a line in when they're at the bar, and he just goes, "You say for something all that," and everyone's like, "Yeah." He actually has a line where he said, "You city boys think they're no better," and everyone disagreeing. Yeah, so look at this elitist over here. Oh my god. And of course, the Sergeant Fisher, the guy who's just like, "What? Oh, what?"
My perfect Sunday.
My perfect Sunday. But no, he said, "So what do we reckon? Angel, what? help me.
Yeah.
But in the
What
end,
he said-
he grows an arc because there's like,
Yeah.
what do you reckon? Well, we'll take them by surprise, and he does this whole plan, and it ends with Nicholas Angel, who usually, this is the line of Fisher, goes, very good, what he said. So great.
Yeah.
So great.
It's like everybody everybody grows. It's so nice. It's so fun. There's also the one lady cop, the police woman.
Doris?
She's not a police woman. Yes, she is. I've seen her bra. God.
Police officer.
Police officer. Yes. It's just like really dirty. I guess it's like her thing that like she's one of the boys is her thing. And like aside from the murderous townsfolk, she's also one of she's like one of the few like female characters in this. There was supposed to be a love interest for Nicholas, a girlfriend actually, and then they said no, that's pretty arbitrary, and they gave all the girlfriend lines over to Nick Frost. So that's why
I don't think I know how. I can show you how.
Yeah.
And then instead of a kiss, he just goes to the DVD cabinet. Point Break or Bad Boys 2.
And they like they fall asleep to Bad Boys 2, and they like lean on each other's shoulders. It's that's a good couple.
Yeah, I'd ship it.
I still say the Andes. I mean, absolutely, there can be more than one, but like the Andes.
There's so much fun with the Andes. Just like
this whole movie is so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When we were watching Space, we were just like, it was kind of a slog. But when like, as soon as we got to Sean and it carried right over to Hot Fuzz, it's just like we had so much fun.
Yes,
these movies are so. And at the time, I remember when I watched Sean, I was like, oh my god, it was. I don't remember how long the movie was, but I remember thinking it was like an hour tops, and the movie was over. Hot Fuzz, I look over at the time when the movie was ending, and I was like, oh my god, it was like the same thing. Like, I thought it's only been an hour. It's been this long. Where did the time go?
It's so. I think part of it is just because of how fast paced it is.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And it's not only fast paced, but as we've been saying a lot, it's efficient too.
Yeah, absolutely. It is incredibly good.
So efficient.
If it was just like throwing random jokes at you or random moments that kind of connected together, if we were lucky, it would have been a drag. But because everything connects to something else, it's just like, oh my, I'm constantly engaged. And then it ended, and it was just like, wow, that was a lot longer than I thought it was. I thought
Bring
it was
in
much
the
shorter.
noise.
Bring in the noise. And the title shows up for the first time at the very end of the movie.
Better late than never.
Here's a question I'm going to ask for you. Is there anything you didn't like or you thought was weak about this film?
The ending, the very end, I just thought it was outright bad.
Oh,
really?
When they're in the office, they're like, oh, ha, ha, like that when they're joking and laughing around, I was like, okay, I can get into that. This is still good. And then the neighborhood watch guy comes out, and then Danny jumps out to save Nicholas, and then the whole building explodes, and then it jump cuts to it. Well, not jump cuts, but it transitions to a year later, and they try to play it out like Danny died, but he's alive, and it's just like, was any of that necessary? I guess the neighborhood watch, we have to see how he dies. I guess. But the rest of it, it's just like, none of this is necessary. Like, why did this have to be here? It just feels so forced in a movie that is otherwise so well put together.
Yeah.
Maybe it was making fun of that action movie trope.
I mean that's fair, but like if it's bad, it's still bad.
I think also like the very ending of this, especially when
okay, I'll say this. I like the closing line, and then they like drive the car and it spins, and that transitions into the whoosh whoosh Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
that I like.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say was that like the ending of it when Sean had I didn't even realize that like at the beginning, like what I said Sean Nicholas at the very beginning, Nicholas is actually like the most liberal cop. Like he's very, very much about like just like community outreach and just and stuff. And then at the end, he becomes like the writers call it the fascist avenger, becoming like a death wish, kind of like just shoot everybody. And like at the very end, he has like black gloves and it's just like. And they're getting like really giddy about beating up hippies at the supermarket. It's odd. It's what I can say. It's the kind of tone that it takes at the very end.
And then there is also, I mean, it lasted for all of a minute, so I can't get too upset about it. The worst I can call it really is unnecessary. But there is one of those like dramatic breakup moments where Nicholas and Danny get into an argument, and there's a little bit of time that's spent moping, and then Nicholas has to go back to Danny and cheer him up because they're partners. We need to do this. We're partners. And like I said, it's only a minute, so I can't say it bothered me too much. Like by the time that I was thinking to myself, like, oh my god, I know exactly where this is gonna go, it was over.
Well, I mean, okay, but so my thing is that like it kind of has like. First off, it has the line where it's like, thanks for bringing me the monkey. You're sentient. I want it for you. And it's like, that's sort of like sexual sort of reading of it that I loved. But
that's valid.
But also like when they have that breakup, Danny says, "You don't know how to switch off," and then he huddles away while holding onto his cowboy hat, trying not to slip and fall in the rain.
With the monkey in his other hand as well.
Monkey in the hand, yeah. You don't know how to switch off, and it's supposed to be like a dramatic run, and just like waddles. That I love. If I were to talk about did you have something random?
If you have something, I can go first. I'm trying to think about what I don't like about this film.
One thing that really bothered me was Danny and the ketchup at the stab when he stabs Nicholas in what turns out to be the Notebook. When he stabs him in the Notebook with the ketchup. And then he drives him away. And he's this is murder. It's not. It's ketchup. And he does. And he's not playing dumb because he is dumb. But like he doesn't make the connection. If he didn't make the connection that the townspeople are like were trying to kill him, then why did he do that? Why did he pretend to be like one of them? Why did he do all of that? I never understood that.
I remember them saying something about it in the movie, but the fact that I can't remember what it is, and that I feel like I had the same complaint to begin with, kind of speaks volume about how good, in air quotes, of an excuse it was.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. That always threw me off a bit.
I never my first time I was like, how did he get the ketchup inside the Notebook? But then when I watched it again, I was like, oh, okay, he had the ketchup in his hand and he squirted it that way. That makes a little more sense. But why he did that and yet did not make the connection, I don't buy it. I just never got that one.
My complaint, I just thought of another one.
The timer's up. Yeah. When you said "well," I was like, "Oh, this is the timer's up."
This is the timer, isn't
it? Okay. Good lord. I feel like we talked about a bunch, but we didn't talk about nearly enough.
Oh yes, this was a lot more to talk about than that we did with Spaced.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the same thing with Shaun of the Dead. It's like by the time the episode was over, it was like, oh my god, we talked about like a lot, but not enough.
Here we are.
Like we're going into all the different details. I remember I was looking at the at the audition. I was like, oh my god, it's been 30 minutes already.
Yeah, flew right by.
All right, yeah. So I guess I'll start then. I love this. I love everything about this. Like I remember I was like worried, and I think like if I'm gonna give something, it's that like Shaun of the Dead had a lot more of like an emotional core to it than Hot Fuzz. I mean, Hot Fuzz still has its own emotional core, you know, like Nick and Danny and the Andes, like the two gay couple. But like Shaun of the Dead is a really strong, like, I mean, it's a romantic comedy. And it's a really strong, like really strong in that department. This one is a little less so, but it's also a completely different kind of movie, and it just knocks it out of the park. I just get blown away by it in every respect. I like 75 minutes was not enough for me. I could talk about this for days. It's just like so much that I love in this movie. I'm speechless. I'm now speechless because I'm trying to sum up everything and I just cannot.
Well, okay. Here's how you could sum it up. At the beginning, you said Hot Fuzz was your favorite film. Does that still hold up?
I think it does. I think it then like I'm thinking about like Inside Out. I'm thinking like Inside Out is also is like one of my favorite films ever, and it's like that one's the one that just kind of like makes me that one's it just like hits me emotionally. This it I'm gonna make the dumbest. I'm gonna say the dumbest thing. It hit me intellectually. It hit me in the brain.
Oh my god, that's good. Someday we really should do like top 10 films that we've seen for the podcast. I think that would be fun.
We could like rank the. I think this is like really this is like really close with the Tokyo Godfathers too. I mean that one I have the exact same. Like, I don't know how many times I've compared Tokyo Godfathers to Hot Fuzz, which is just the kind of efficiency and the.
No, even during the Tokyo Godfathers episode, I remember you saying the best comparison I can think of is Edgar Wright.
Yeah, absolutely. Like especially Hot Fuzz. Like Hot Fuzz is just so efficient. I was reading the screenplay yesterday. I was just in awe at how good it was. Like just so much. God. I'm back to speechless again. Random. What do you think?
I love this film too.
That's good.
It's very tight. That's good. I mean, you basically said, there's one thing I learned about Wash and I is that we have very similar taste in films, especially with anime. But
oh my god,
with Hot Fuzz, I really, again, the writing is what I really love about it. As someone who has tried to craft writing as good as this, but who has not succeeded as well. The writing is so tight. The jokes are hilarious, and they all come back later. The acting is fantastic. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost do it again so wonderfully. I love the character actors. There's so much to love about this film. Mm-hmm. And I could go on for hours and hours. And again, I've seen it so many times, and I'm going to watch it so many more times because it's just such a great film that even after you watch it for 100 times, you're still going to love it. And yeah, I believe this was my second favorite film at the time, with it fluctuating, with it changing constantly from first or second with another Edgar Wright film. A favorite of the Edgar Wright films, I mean, not my favorite film of all time. I did say it was my favorite comedy of all time. Okay. And it probably still is. Definitely favorite live-action comedy. By far. I don't know if it's my favorite Edgar Wright film yet. As of the ones we watched, Are we saying if it's our favorite now, or are we just saving that for later?
We'll get to rankings soon enough. I mean, I spoiled mine, but we'll get to rankings.
All right. Well, but it's still, regardless of where it is such a good film. And I know that Wash and I are praising this film so high. And I'm just going to wait for KirbyFan to bring it down a bit to a normal level. And that's not saying anything bad.
I hate to disappoint you, but I freaking love this too.
Okay, good.
Like you gotta understand when you're in a podcast with 3 people and 2 people are talking like it's the greatest film ever. The only way I could think to bring it down to earth is by constantly bringing up Shaun of the Dead. That's like the only thing I had, because how am I going to disagree with anything that you're saying? Everything you said was right. It's efficient. It's funny. The effects are incredible. It's funny. It's efficient. It's funny.
Don't forget. It is funny.
I can't stress enough just how funny this is.
Yes.
Like I said, I think like if you're looking at it from a movie making perspective, like I kind of think Shaun of the Dead was a bit funnier, but as a movie, I didn't really get to say this, but I laughed more during Hot Fuzz. I definitely like.
Yeah.
I think Shaun of the Dead is a little bit sillier and more fun than you two are making it out to be, but not disagreeing on the point with Hot Fuzz. This is the funnier movie. God, the characters in it, even like outside of like, you know, the important character, like the really important characters in the police, I do kind of feel like the village all kind of blended in with each other. I don't remember any of their names. I'll kind of get more into that when I get to Shaun of the Dead. But I remember their faces, and that's what I think is important.
Yeah.
God, this is just so funny. It's so well written. It's so well edited. I can't praise the movie enough either. I'll compare it to Shaun of the Dead when we get to the rankings, but just as a standalone movie, I mean, like, pretty much all I gotta say is that if Hot Fuzz isn't number 1, then it's crazy. But also, like, if Shaun of the Dead isn't number 1, that's crazy, and it just goes to show just how good of a director Edgar Wright is.
I will say that, like, for quite a while, I've just kind of considered Hot Fuzz as, like, the brainier of the two between Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. I considered, like, Hot Fuzz to be, like, brainier because, like, there's a lot, like we said, like, it pays off when you see this for the second and the third and the 7th and the 20th.
Oh, it's so good.
But I just kind of
so
like,
good.
oh, it's you have to like think on it a little more. But like when I watched it again, there was I honestly was not expecting like I should have, but I honestly was not expecting like how many times I would just guffawing at the slapstick. Of Danny falling through the fence.
That was one of my biggest laughs.
It really was.
I like it, everything about it. It's the build up. It's the build up with like Nickel jumping over the fences. It's the music.
And then just hearing Nick struggle to go up the fence. We all adore this movie.
We all adore this.
No questions.
No questions asked. Okay. I gotta wipe off the tears from my face. So, okay. So, so we just finished. Before we get to this, unfortunately, like we said, unfortunately, Rancid not able to join us. But in his ranking, because as of his ranking, he had from the bottom up, I'm trying to remember this, it is Cars 2, Cars 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 1999, Incredibles 2.
No, what about Cars?
Oh, that's right. Cars and Incredibles 2. My bad. And so he said, "Where do you rank it?" And he said, and I'm quoting, "Top of the heap." So we don't have to worry about that.
That's a jump from Hot Fuzz to Incredibles 2.
Yeah, like he honestly said, I like this line from him. He said that like even though he couldn't join us, it's like he got to see Hot Fuzz again. So he didn't. He still had some fun.
That's good. We miss him though, and I hope we get to see him again.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to invite him soon enough. We miss him so. But it's now time for our rankings. So far, I believe we all have the exact same ranking. From the bottom up, our collective ranking is Dead Right and Shaun of the Dead.
I forgot we were counting Dead Right.
That's right.
I don't think it's gonna be below Dead Right, but
we didn't even mention Dead Right because there's so much of Dead Right in Hot Fuzz.
I mentioned Dead Right a couple times.
Oh, okay, that's fair. There are even like actors who come back from. I mean, we talked about that in the Dead Right episode, so you can listen to that. I'm still laughing about the fence.
All right.
Do you want random to start?
No. Okay. I got this.
No, let's
Wash. What do you think? Hot Fuzz is better than Dead Right.
Yes, I think Hot Fuzz is better than Dead Right.
KirbyFan, do you think Hot Fuzz is better than Dead Right?
Yes.
And I do not know. I'm kidding. Of course I do. God. All right. Do you want me to go first, or who wants to do this order? Who wants the order of this reveal?
I think I'm better now. So, let's take it over to you know what? I'm gonna save Kirby for last because I am very curious about this. I spoiled myself, so I'm just gonna say straight off. Yes, I say that Hot Fuzz is better than Shaun of the Dead. It is very close. I'm gonna tell you, especially when I got to rewatch this, I was very surprised with how smart. Like I did not give Shaun of the Dead enough credit growing up. Like it is far smarter than I anticipated when I first saw when I've been seeing it over the years. But like Hot Fuzz, no, you can literally like the only complaint I had was this one kind of odd plot hole in with the Danny and trying to save Nicholas. That's it. It's just so good. It's just so it has a massive cast of characters, named characters, but it doesn't feel like overly busy. Like everyone gets their moment to shine. It's so good.
We'll make sure everyone gets their just desserts.
And even the farmer's mom gets her
mom.
All right.
So random.
Yes.
Shaun of the Dead. Is Hot Fuzz better than Shaun of the Dead?
Yes. Yes, it is. I agree with you. I love Shaun of the Dead. I loved it a lot more watching it again. But just the writing is so tight, and the writing is so tight. The jokes are so tight. Everything is just crafted perfectly that I have to love Hot Fuzz a bit more than Shaun of the Dead. Again, it's close, but I gotta love Hot Fuzz more.
Okay. Now, KirbyFan, you have Shaun of the Dead. Is Hot Fuzz better than Shaun of the Dead?
This is a tough one. I have my answer.
It's hard.
It's super hard. I have my answer. Don't worry. I'm not gonna pull a Coco.
Wait, can you get back to me?
What? But it was super hard. I think both move for completely different reasons, mind you. But I do think these are two of the not only the best comedies, but also two of the best films. I'm right there up there with you two. You know, as far as live action comedies go, you know what really can be better than these two? They're so well written. Directly comparing them, I said before that I remember the villagers' faces, but I don't remember their names as much. Whereas Shaun of the Dead, you know, I can tell you right now, there's Sean, there's Ed. I'm not looking at the character list; it's just going off memory. Sean's girlfriend, her name is Liz. The actress, the actress in universe, her name's Diane. Sean's mom, Barbara. Sean's father-in-law, Phil, the jerk David, their roommate, whose actor is Pete. His name is Pete. I can tell you all their names just right off the bat, just because. But I can say this is because Shaun of the Dead was a much smaller, more centralized cast.
Yeah.
That was a big reason of that. I can't tell you the names of the characters in Hot Fuzz because there's a million characters.
Yeah.
I can tell you that there are 2 characters named Andy because that was a joke. So it's just one of those things where it was just so hard. I turned my computer off. I took a deep breath and, I just closed my eyes and like meditated. I was like, which one is better? Which one is better? And then I kid you not, on my parents upstairs on the TV, what do I hear? Tonight I'm gonna have myself. And then immediately I'm like, wait a minute. The best scene like ever in Shaun of the Dead is when they're whacking the guy in sync with Queen. That's like the best thing ever. I would like take that scene over like The Incredibles. And look, I adore Hot Fuzz, but I just can't think of anything quite like that. That is the perfect scene to me. I mean, if you disagree, you disagree. But like to me, that is all around perfect. It has everything. Like I know how stupid that sounds, but these movies are.
No, it doesn't sound stupid. I appreciate movies that use their soundtrack to its
yes,
fullest.
I know. The only thing I know about Baby Driver is that people have compared that scene in Shaun of the Dead to Baby Driver. That's all I know about it.
That's all I'm gonna say is that wait for Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I know. I'm very excited for Baby Driver just on that knowledge alone. But just like, this is what I have to compare because I can't think. I mean, yeah, there are other things like in Shaun of the Dead's case, Ed's role in both the movie and Sean's character and his growth. There's a girl outside, all that. Nothing quite like that in Hot Fuzz, but at the same time, like the climax in Shaun of the Dead is super good, but compared to oh god, I'm trying to think of all the stupid one-liners, but like they all rushing into my head. Just the one-liners in the climax. There's nothing like that in Shaun of the Dead as a whole. So I really
doctor, deal with it. Yeah, motherfucker.
Fuck yeah.
It's the only way that I could think to differentiate the movies is that one had a bunch of people that are in a pub beating up a guy in sync to Queen. I kind of give it to Shaun of the Dead.
Right, okay.
It's so razor. It's so razor.
So
thin.
now,
like, remember when I said Shaun of the Dead was like same group as The Incredibles, Tokyo Godfathers, and Silent Voice? Like Hot Fuzz, right there too.
I understand. Completely understandable. I mean, like, God, what a selection.
but
yeah.
But
you know what Hot Fuzz had? Hey, watch this. Oh my god! Just get you.
All right, and on that note,
we
did it. We talked about Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, and now that we have slightly separate rankings, I can say
one out of 3 is separate.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have to do much math on this to know that our average ranking is from the bottom up: Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and Dead Right.
From the bottom up.
Whoa,
bottom up.
I mean it's fair. Dead Right. Dead Right is the best. Dead Right is nothing like the other movies.
The reason I put Dead Right, I picked Dead Right because, like, we're talking about Edgar Wright here. We have to throw in something that's not that good.
No, the joke is that you said from the bottom up: Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, Dead Right. That was the joke.
I didn't realize I said.
That's why I said. I mean, you know, I'm right. Dead Right is nothing like the other movie.
Yeah,
it's not.
Which is ironic because it's a lot like Hot Fuzz.
It really is not. But yeah, next time,
yes,
is going to be interesting.
So next time is going to be interesting, and then
because we're not having ice cream.
To transition over to it, to transition over to this, we actually have to rewind back to 2004, because right around when Shaun of the Dead was getting released internationally, there's this artist named Brian Lee O'Malley who had just released the first of what would be a 6-volume graphic novel series. And his publisher was shopping the book around for adaptations. The producer who picked up the book just happened to be talking with Edgar Wright and says, "Hey, you want to have a pre-release copy?" Edgar said, "Sure." And he read it and he was like, "I'm fully on board with this. We gotta try this out. But hold on, let me first finish this British cop film. Then we'll get to your thing."
and with
that graphic novel was, of course, Watchmen. We're gonna talk about 2009's Watchmen. I'm very excited for that. No, it is 2010's Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I've never seen this. You two have, I think?
I have seen it before.
I've seen it a couple times by now, not nearly to the extent of the Cornetto trilogy.
I've only seen one clip of it, and that's an interesting story in and of itself.
We'll get to that.
I hope it's as interesting as, like, the Wolf Children one.
I mean, it involves the same girl.
Oh my god. If you don't watch the next episode, you're missing out.
It's not. There's no. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna say we're gonna have to tune in next time. I'm excited to watch Scott Pilgrim. I really am.
Are you gonna have to watch it a second time in order to rank it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure you watch it early.
Yeah.
What?
But until then,
make sure that you're...
Yeah.
Well, finishing watching one film twice is better than all the films twice.
I mean, are you gonna rewatch Dead Right?
No.
Okay.
Burn.
No. I will rewatch Scott Pilgrim. I will not rewatch Dead Right.
Yeah, Dead Right is more like something that it's more like oh, that's interesting, and then you just move on.
All right. Anyway, I think that we're gonna conclude things off here.
Okay. Because I have been The Wash.
I'm Random Bystander here.
And I want ice cream.
Well,
don't worry, there's plenty at the station.
Isn't that right,
Danny? Pack it in, you silly box stool. You know what? We've brought that up. I don't think we've ever actually explained that about the funk. Like Funky Pete or anything. I don't think
and we're not going to do it now.
We're not going to do it now.
Tune in for World's End.
I guess World's End. Bye.
First Scott Pilgrim, then World's End.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm stopping recording.
I stopped too.